Hello everyone, Sunsun.2 and welcome to another mod overview, this time on Anchors, a mod that simply adds a chunk loader as well as fuel. You can set multiple modes for it. There's obviously elements in a config you can configure, and it takes the Chicken Chunks and RailCraft like approaches to the chunk loader. And you see the interface like so. There's no recipes for these as far as I can tell. I'm assuming that's possibly done on purpose so you can customize it however you want, possibly with Craft Tweaker. But yeah, I don't think it's found in other sources. Now, we'll actually try a few different types of fuel here. So we'll try something like coal, doesn't do anything. So it mostly seems like you're going to rely on tritium here. So you do have multiple options for chunk sizes. You've got 1x1, 3x3, which is the default, and 5x5. You can also turn the chunk loader on and off. If we put just one in here, you can see it'll last for a few hours. If we turn it off, obviously, it's not going to load the chunk that we're in. And if we set it to a smaller amount, you can see that the working time is much longer compared to, say, 3x3, which is the equivalent of a day, 5x5, which is half a day, and then 1x1, which is 2 days. So there is obviously a bit to make it sort of balanced, so you're not chunk loading it the entire time, but also as well you do have to make sure you have quite a bit stacked up. And obviously it won't consume another one of the fuel until the working time is over, then it consumes it and then continues with that time. Other than that, if you wanted to break and move these, you can, I'm pretty sure, just use a wooden pick or hire to break it. And you do get your fuel back as well, if it's just left over in the interface. It does also keep the information of the work time and the mode, it seems, as well. So just get a fresh one, for example, and then break it, and I'm assuming it won't display the information. No. So if you do have one that's already been used and you want to move it, you can then place it back in the world. It will still continue from where it left off with its working time, and if it's on or off or otherwise, which will actually test that as well. So 1x1, 2 days, and it is in off state. Should we try and do it again? So it's in off state, it's now on, good to go. Now, I don't think you can use redstone either with this, however, to turn it on or off, or activate the button at all. No, so can't do that. And you do have to access the interface, so you can't use a autonomous activator or certain other type of fake player blocks to activate these. You have to be a player to activate the button, at least that's my guess, unless there's probably some way of working around that, of course, but at least as of a simple way of accessing it, that's not possible. Otherwise though, thanks so much for watching, and goodbye. Actually, before I go, obviously, I've got the configs. You can enable or disable the chunk loader entirely. I don't know if that means it also keeps the fuel as still an option of an item that appears accessible. So, unless it just disables the mod entirely, which is more so what it seems like. You can configure the fuel that is used, so if you don't want it to just be the tritium cell, well, you could probably remove it. You could make it coal, you can make it whatever you want. You can set the time operation of the world anchor for 1 unit of fuel in seconds. The default is obviously 68,400, and you can set it to the 2 billion or so mark, I think that is. I think that's about 2 billion or so. 2 trillion, I think, actually. And then you've got the multiplier, which if you set this, it's for the fuel depending on the mode. So 1 unit is the equivalent of 24 hours for 3x3 anchors, and if a player sets it to 5x5, then the time will be divided by the multiplier, which happens to be 2. So since this is going off the default, which is the 3x3, which is the equivalent of 1 day, then obviously, or 24 hours, then the 5x5 is obviously half that, or whatever you set the multiplier to, changing it so it's not half, it's possibly a quarter, 1/3, or whatever else you set it to. Thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.